Hi and welcome to Friday's live trading. This is Kim Watson speaking on Friday the 3rd of September. So it is actually 12:06. At this point I'm actually not actually doing any live trading whatsoever. I have not been all morning. You can see I've got the euro dollar 60-minute chart up here. You can see it's really quite consolidated. Looking like one moment it's going to push up, next minute it's down. It is non-farm payrolls day, so I tend to not trade so much. If there's a trade early on that I can see and it's all set up, I'll have a pop at it or trade it if the signal's there. But as it happens, the markets have been quite choppy this morning, and I just step away. In fact, I normally wait until post the news altogether. So I normally wait until the news is completely out, and then consider whether there's a trade to be had. So we'll see how things turn out. So for now, as I said, it's 7 minutes past 12. I'm going to pause the video here. I will be doing some analysis of the news events, etc. A little bit closer to the time, so I will switch this back on in a moment. So let's just have a look at the markets. It's 13 minutes past 1 at the moment, and I'm just having a look at these markets before I do a bit of analysis. So what we've seen over the last 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks is a good shove up on the euro dollar here. Some decent retracements along the way that have given had seen some solid old bounces come from them. So largely helped last week on the Fed meeting there on the 27th. We saw a real sort of step back from what a lot of people were expecting in terms of a more tapered version, but as such, we've seen since then we've seen the markets absolutely fly up. So markets flying up on that basis. So priced into this market. Good afternoon, Maverick. Priced into this market is basically the expectation that the Fed ain't not going to do anything, and that we saw on Wednesday. This was this move here. I think it was. Yep. 1st and 9th, we saw Wednesday the ADB data. Sorry, this is a 4-hourly chart, so you have to bear with me a little bit. Could be a bit more specific there. But we saw on Wednesday the shove up. There we go. On the ADP data. Now, generally, no one takes any notice of ADP. And why are we so worried about the ADP? Well, and I won't say ADP, but jobs. Well, the Fed have put jobs at the front of everything that they're looking at before they're talking about interest rate increases and tapering, etc. Tapering may have to be forced along the way because of inflation, but as a matter that's been almost forgotten because they think that the inflation will be very short-lived. But we'll see. Anyway, this jobs report has become more and more important, although somewhat discounted, I get a feeling. Unusually, people have taken note of the ADP, and I say unusually because it's probably 70% of the time it's completely wrong. If I just bring up the ADP, you get some sort of idea in terms of here's the ADP data and the previous numbers. So in August, they saw half the actual. They expected to forecast of 695. Their figure came out 330. However, the non-farms, it was expected 870. It came out 57 short of a million. So, and this is a common thing. But and I say the buts because there has been a couple of buts. Back in May, everyone was pushing and expecting the non-farms to be high, and it came down slightly lower. And I say it's the buts because that's it. And we were expecting a million, pretty much, and we saw 266. Is one figure the right thing to be looking at? I think that the problem is that this was half of what it was expected. They were looking at private companies, employment data and everything that goes with that. And when you go through and look at the detail, and there's delta still were showing higher numbers in the US, etc., more people becoming ill. It's putting the frighteners on, and that's the big thing. Whether it be the ADP that it was needed to trigger that, or what it was. Personally, I think the ADP is as useful as a chocolate teapot. But there we go. It's people have followed it. It's pushed up. We've seen this sort of reaction to that bit of news. You could argue whether the price was moving up anyway. If we come back to the 4-hourly, the price action was already moving up, and it was. It was already moving up, and if you look at this, it's pretty much within trend. If I was to put in a regression tool, if I can dig my regression tool out of here somewhere, where are you? Where are you when I need you? There we go. If I was to be putting the regression tool on and popping that in, even before the news came out, look, the market was pushing up. Okay, arguably it's pushed up a bit further. Sorry, this is the Fed news. I'm allowed to put it on that one. There's the ADP. So yeah, okay, it's pushed up a little bit more than expected, potentially from the mean, but it's pushed up. Well, we'll see what happens today. So I have a bit of a thought going on, a bit of a thought process going on. The market's pretty much priced in a weaker jobs report. Now I've looked at some data from some of the big banks like Citi. But they're expecting 850 today. You look at Goldman Sachs, they're expecting 500. The average of the bigger banks is seeing somewhere around about 740,000 jobs, which if you look at the expectation of the market as a whole, let's bring that back in for a moment. Bring the right one in. Expectation is to come in around about 720. So 720, 750, it'd be in line. If it was to fall below that number, I think we would see yet even further. Okay, it's priced in to be below that number, but I think we'd see further upside potential, but not a great deal because it's priced in. Now. Here's the other thing. Well, there are some UBS which are expecting a million. I think that's a bit pie in the sky. But you got, as I said, Citi 850. You've got quite a few of these analysts thinking, well, it's going to be quite a bit more. Personally, it'd probably be a bit less. But as I said, with the pricing in of this market, I do wonder if it'll go the other way. Now, I looked at currencies to have a bit of a trade on. I personally don't normally trade these days the non-farm payrolls before the news, and I certainly won't be today, but immediately after the news I used to with a smaller account manage to put in a bit of a preset buy stop, sell stop, and let the market do its thing. I'm considering it. I'm going to risk this. Now this is I warn you, it is risky. I'm going to look at it. Now there's currencies that have got liquidity and that give the best liquidity when it comes to non-farm payrolls, and really the euro is by far the best liquidity, followed by the yen. The yen we see some pretty decent liquidity. Now I think with the euro things are pretty priced in there, and yeah, it could pop up a little bit more. Will it come off so much? I'm not so sure. We'll see. But when you look at the dollar yen, it's a much flatter position it's sitting in at the moment, and I quite like this. It's got the rising, the trend wise, just looking at the technicals, the higher lows coming through, so it's got the move to the upside. What I'm thinking here is, well, if the news was better than expected, we'd see the dollar maybe being bought. We'll see the dollar yen pushing up here, maybe 40 or 50 pips, possibly more, depending on how it goes. What I'm going to do is try something I haven't done for a long time. As I said, there is a risk to it because of the liquidity, but on a smaller account, I'm just doing this on a modest account that I use here. I'm going to pop in a cheeky little buy order. Now, as I say, there is risk with this. I'm putting a buy stop in just about 110.10 basically. I'm going to pop a 110.10 with a 20 pip stop and looking for a simple 40 pip target. That's as simple as it. So it gives me a chance of getting up to that 150. I will manually, maybe if it pushes up there and slows up, if it gets that way, triggers and gets me in, I might start bringing the stop up quite aggressively. One thing's for sure, I'm not going to see the numbers until it's the price action's done the move. So there's no point me waiting to look at the numbers on this. In normal circumstances, I prefer to see the numbers, give it 5-10 minutes and have a shot. This is a bit of an old-fashioned way of trying it with small accounts. As I said, you'll get away with it more likely. Smaller positions, you might get away with it. There is that element of risk still that sits, and it may be worth waiting and taking the trade afterwards. And of course, I will address the market afterwards and see if there is a trade to be had. And as I said, the market I've sort of identified as the going nowhere sort of market really, but with lots of potential liquidity in it, is the yen. So I'll play it. It worked. It moved reasonably well. There we go. On that was 3 p.m. in the morning. That was not the move at all. There we are. I'll get the right movement. There it is. It moved reasonably well the other day. It sold off quite quickly. We'll see what we can do. If this starts moving to break into the downside because the news is poor, I will manually look to take a trade on the short side. Most likely, as I say, currency for today, dollar yen. So I've already picked that. Now I'll wait a bit patient, maybe a bit patient with it. We'll see what the news is and trade it. If it's moved too quickly, well, I'll have missed it. But as I say, I'm going to put this trade in a few minutes. I want to place it and just put it there. So the trigger price on the upside would be 110.10. It's, as I say, there's quite an element of risk with it doing this sort of trading. I know there'll be lots of people shouting at the video, say you shouldn't do that sort of thing. Well, yeah, each to their own. And this sort of trading worked pretty well when there was more liquidity. We're seeing a little bit of a step up in liquidity, and we're in a currency that has the potential. I'm not right bang on the price, so hopefully if it does trigger, it will have time to catch the other side, get a bit of match in and get the other side of the trade. So I'm going to put that as a buy stop. 110.10. I'm going to pop that there now, and that's ready to go. So that's that. I am going to also open another. Actually, I'll open another deal ticket here. Ready. I'm going to maybe placing a short position. We'll see. But that's ready to go. So there we are beforehand. Theory is, I think, a lot of the things priced, a lot of actions priced in. If the jobs come in slightly better than expected, I think we'll see the yen, dollar yen, or the dollar being bought here, yen sold, and we'll see this pushing up. We've got the room technically to run up to that 110.50-ish area, so about 40 pips. As I say, I'll manage that when it comes to it. So that's where I'm sitting at the moment. We've got 6 minutes to go. I'm just going to put this on pause for a moment. Okay, so it's gone the opposite side. I'm waiting for the news to actually visualize. I'm going to go and cancel my order that's sitting there. So I've got the buy stop. I'll go and cancel that. I don't particularly want to be into a position on the buy stop side of things now. So I've just cancelled the buy stop out of the way. Let's cancel that. Yes. So, okay, figures came in at plus 235, so it hasn't given the positive surprise. Hasn't given really much of a move at the moment. We'll see how this. Let's have a look on the euro. Some more action, and this will give me a move. Hang on, my e-signals decided to freeze on me. There we go. So the euro's shot to the upside there. So nothing ventured, nothing gained on the yen there. It's not gone the way. Euro's pushing up here quite strongly. Let's have a look at the yen. Let's see if I can see if we get a bit of follow through on the yen. If it's going to, these markets are going to go through. It is a reasonable miss. I think we're looking at 750, 720 I'd seen elsewhere as the sort of average forecast. There were more people probably expecting the downside miss, which would have made the upside hit all that stronger, but this has slowed down quite considerably. Euro still pushing. We can move this. Euro still pushing up quite strongly. Just bring down the time frames here a little bit. All in one 5-minute bar there at this stage. Okay, a lot of our traders, Charlie had called it long already on the euros from a week or so ago, and that's running quite nicely for them at the moment on a swing basis. On a short-term basis, I've got nothing to get into. I just don't want to just jump in. The yen might give me a better opportunity. That slight retracement we had almost immediately might have been it. Let's just let the first 5 minutes ride over, see if there's some profit taking, and maybe sell on the profit taking. So just coming out, looking at the bigger picture here, it's broken its trend, the yen now. Got the potential for some more downside. Other markets that have been moving pretty well, the Aussie dollar's been by far the strongest against the market, but very difficult in terms of liquidity to get into these in the short term, and this has just literally gone on the 5 minutes as well, so unlikely to be able to get into that. We'll just see if we get a bit of a retracement on the yen here. If it doesn't, won't be for me. Okay, 34 minutes, so maybe a bit of profit taking coming through. It's coming really quite quickly, that profit taking. So I have a ticket ready to sell. It's just watching this. Okay, I just sold there. So I just need to pop the stop in. Stop is going to be about 30 pips or so. Let's just get this popped in. So just popped a stopped in there, 38.74. I think I might need a little bit more than that. I've just misjudging this. 84, that'll be fine. So I've got a 35 pip stop on this at the moment. See if we can run back south. I think I've got a rather ugly looking spread sitting there in terms of entry. 38.49. Being filled at just realised traded the wrong currency here. So unfortunately I picked the looking up here, it should be here. I've traded the wrong currency, so that's a classic mistake for you. As it happens, well, I thought the prices looked a bit weird there. I'd clicked on the wrong ticket here, so it looks like I might actually get away with a mistake. It's actually running. The mistake is actually at this stage running back flat and well, actually running me back into a profit at this rate here. So I'm going to close this. Shouldn't actually be in the position. I'm going to close it. I know some people say, well, you're in it, run it, or whatever else, but I wasn't supposed to be in that. So I'll close that. Reopened a proper ticket now. I traded the pound dollar instead of the yen, which I clicked on the wrong. It sits next to each other on this platform. It's slightly different. So I'm still looking on the short side here on this yen. I thought there was a bit of weirdness in terms of the price action and what it was doing. It was going down. There you go, just trying to multitask. So I've got the right ticket open now. It had the same number of contracts and everything else sitting there on that ticket. And right, okay. Let's take away this profit target here. So I'm selling the yen here. Now I've got a 20 stop loss on that. I don't know if let's just check that's what we need on that. Stop loss 0.5, that's fine. So I have it's gone with the original idea of the trade. It's still, I think these might come off a bit. Well, the yen may come off a bit yet. Running, looking for it to run back to its lows that it's just made today, and maybe even further. So it's double bottomed back down there. So we've seen some profit taking maybe. So sitting in the short yen. Stop at just 0.5, so just above these highs here. I mean, if it's starting pushing up beyond that, I'm certainly wrong. Looking for the move south. Just goes to show you can make an error quite easily when you're trying to multitask. As I said, it just clicked on the wrong side there. Normally I have euro, pound, yen. I've gone euro, yen, pound on my listing on here. It's the wrong way around. So it looks like there's quite a bit of profit taking. I did wonder whether we see a pop and drop on the likes of euro, etc. But a bit of profit taking in a continuation. We'll see how this works its way out. So just leaving this to run for a moment. Okay, so this yen trade, it's still running. It's marginally up. Where is it? No, it's not. It's marginally down at the moment. So marginally down at the moment. We're just was it 70? Yeah, just 3 or 4 pips out of play at the moment. It's a bit slow. The market has been slow on the yen. It for the last couple of days. It might not get there, but the target I'm leaving, I'm looking at the double target here. So first target, I'm just going to see if it will come down there today towards that sort of 65 area, 109.65, and then looking on the bigger scale of things, just back down to about 44, somewhere in that region. See if it can run down to 44. I'll be trailing the stop down accordingly. So if it gets to the first target, we'll be looking at half off, stop to break even at that stage. But I'm just rolling it for now, leaving the recording. Just put the recording back on pause and see how it does today. If it does manage to get any further down, or whether it gets stopped. Either way, I'll report that back. So I'll leave that for now. Okay, so we're pretty close to first target here. Then just looking back at the yen, it's just brought the alarm up for me to tell me it's around about there. So I'm in for 3 contracts there, just taking off 1.5 in just a second. It's just see, we go there. It's going to hit the 6. There we go. Oh, it did. Now there we go. Got it. Oops, I might close that. So I haven't closed the whole thing. There we go. Get the right thing done. There we go. Taken 3 off, 1.5 off, beg your pardon. There you go, so 1.5 off, order history, he's sitting in there. So that was the mistake on the pound earlier. Gone and kicked myself for that. We then sold the US dollar yen as I should have. So I've just taken well, the risk was 6,000 yen there, so we're taking off just over half R at the moment. I'm going to move the stop down to break even on this. As I said, it's a market that's been sort of not necessarily rolling the right way. It's been sitting there quite flat for a while. It's the weakest of a lot of the pairs, so it's a bit of safety coming into this. It's not meant as a swing as such, so just moving that to break even. So worst case scenario now is a break even situation on that second half, so it will leave us with a profit. Anyway, I'll leave that to run for now, so that's just running, and I'll pause this.